Hi there, I'm Eshaan Money reporting for Kids First, and today I am speaking with Mr. Zach Cherry, one of the hosts of the Great American Baking Show Season 2, which releases on the Roku Channel on May 24th. Mr. Cherry is an acclaimed actor and improv comedian, best known for his role as Dylan George on the Apple TV Plus series Severance, for which he won the Peabody for Entertainment in 2022. Mr. Cherry, I am super duper stoked to have you on with us today, and welcome to Kids First.
Thank you for having me. You nailed that intro. That was amazing.
Thank you. So let's get started with what were some high points of hosting the Great American Baking Show?
Well, the number one high point is definitely that I get to try all the food. Because it's really good. Even the stuff that maybe the judges have harsh comments for, I try it and I'm like, that's still really good. That's super fun. And then also it's really fun working with Casey and working with Paul and Prue. It's the whole experience is quite a joy.
Oh, 100%. So I was on with Prue recently and I asked her, is it as fun as it looks to judge the show? So from what I'm hearing, it is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, luckily I don't have to judge, so I never have to be,
Well, hosting
you know,
too.
yes,
Yeah.
but I don't have to be even discerning when I try the food. I just get to eat it and go like, sweet, like yeah.
Love it, love it. So you have a really unique repertoire. I mean, over the years you've done comedy, thrillers, and now like a nice warm and toasty baking show. So how did this series hosting the Great American Baking Show challenge you in a different way from past things that you've done?
Uh it has been a very unique experience and totally different than anything I've done professionally. I came up doing improv comedy and sketch comedy, so that in some ways this show feels very like I'm at home because I'm kind of just talking to people and being silly and seeing what happens. But in terms of comparing it to my other work, it has been very different. And it's also challenging because for most of it there is no script. For most of my scripted work, you can prepare, you can come in knowing what you're going to do that day. Whereas on this show, we have an idea. Like I know what challenges we're going to do, but I have no idea how what the bakers are going to say, how it's going to go for them, all that stuff. So each morning it is kind of like, oh, here we go. I don't know what's going to happen.
Awesome, very cool. Okay, that's super duper interesting because my next question was going to be y'all's banter, you and Ellie Kemper, your co-host, y'all's banter is like a really big high point of the show for me. I really, really enjoyed it. Is any of that scripted? Is anything necessarily? I mean, I assume like what Paul and Prue say about the competition and a lot of y'all's like the main stuff is, but do you work on the banter with each other? Do you come in with some ideas?
Yeah, I would say for that it's a little bit of both. When we're sort of introducing a challenge, that's usually mostly scripted. Um, but also so Ellie and also Casey Wilson, who's hosting season
Mhm.
2, they also both come from the improv comedy world. So we kind of just speak the same language of, you know, sometimes maybe I might like lean over to Casey and be like, I'm gonna try this time. Or something like that. But it's definitely a mix. It's like we'll have an idea of what we're gonna do, and then we kind of like play around and have fun with it.
100%. That's very, very cool. Yeah, sorry, I meant to say Casey Wilson for season two. I think I'm stuck in season one for some reason. But as a host, you interact with the contestants in a little bit of a different way, like you were saying, than the judges do. I mean, it's a little bit less formal. You kind of get to be with them in the heat of the moment too. What have you taken away from these interactions that you've had with the contestants?
I'm always very impressed with how much they're able to accomplish in this kind of street. Most of them are not people who have like been on camera before or probably baked under pressure. So it's like a lot of new things. And like, we shoot it in London, so the ovens are different because they're Americans who are used to Fahrenheit, so
Yeah.
they're coming in with all these new stuff. And then while they're trying to do that, I'm like talking to them and being like, hey, how's it going? So I'm very impressed with their ability to like do all of these things at once and then also bake really amazing dishes.
I love that. No, that's actually true. I was just thinking about, yeah, adapting to like British appliances and all that stuff must be part of the learning curve.
It is.
Uh,
There's always a little bit of a struggle at the beginning.
and is this your first British production that you've been a part of? Should say non-American
Uh,
production.
I believe it's the first British production I've been a part of. I've worked in Canada a couple times.
Okay.
But yeah, I think this is the first British one I've done, I think.
Okay. So how was your experience working across the pond then? How was that and working in Britain?
It's been great. I mean, I think with this show in particular, it's such a well-oiled machine because it's, we've got the same judges, we've got a lot of the same crew working on our version who have been doing the British version for so long that it's really amazing how they just like have it down. So I came in never having done anything like this before, and it was so easy because everyone else was so like on top of everything.
That's very good to hear. No, I mean it's such a storied production too. I mean, there's such a huge following of the British version too. I'm sure it's very, very nicely organized. So for you as a host, you kind of also have to balance some fun moments, some of the shticks, things like that, with some of the tough judging and all of those serious moments. So how does that balancing act kind of work for you? Any tricks that you've used to try and balance out comedy with the more sort of serious moments of the competition?
Yeah, I think I always just try and be aware of what the bakers are going through. So both when I'm trying to be silly with them, I try and factor in how comfortable they are with that type of stuff and where they are in their bake. If it's a sensitive moment, I'll try to be a little less disruptive. If it's like right when they're like putting something in the fryer or whatever.
Yeah.
And similarly, when maybe when something fails or when someone has to go home, I try to also just kind of keep in mind where they are and what they're experiencing and be there in the moment with them. So it's sort of a similar approach. It's just I just try and yeah, keep them in mind when we're doing that stuff.
I love that. Very, very cool. And are you a baker of any kind? And if not, did hosting the show help you pick up some baking skills?
I bake a little bit. Surprisingly though, I would say since hosting the show, I have baked less. I think because I see what they can do. It's like, if you like play basketball a little bit and then go watch an NBA game, you're like, why am I even doing, like I can't do that. So I've kind of walked back my baking since hosting this. But yeah, I've definitely picked up little things about I'd say the main thing I've picked up is how precise you have to be because there are times when a baker will be describing what they're going to try and Paul will kind of like be like, "Oh, are you sure about that? Like that's like it sounds like you should be doing this or whatever." And he's usually right. And so that is my main takeaway is like you really kind of need to know what you're doing before you start baking.
And listen to critiques, I guess, as well. Make
Yeah.
sure that sometimes those nattering voices can be right. Uh,
Yes, if an expert is telling you something, try to listen.
so to close off, what do you think that young viewers will love the most about this season of the Great American Baking Show? What's gonna stick in their heads, or what's really gonna pull them in about the show?
I think it's such a fun, show that anyone can watch. It's a great family show. It's like you get to hear a lot about the bakers, family baking traditions, and I'm sure young viewers will relate to that. And it's just like a nice, fun, silly, easy watch. So hopefully that all is appealing to the young viewers.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Cherry, for chatting with me today. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It was great. Great talking to you.
And for our viewers, the Great American Baking Show releases on the Roku channel beginning on May 24th, 2024. So definitely go and check it out. This is Eshaan from Kids First signing off. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss my next interview or review or those of my Kids First teammates. And I will see you at the movies. Bye.
I love the taste of goat cheese and blackberry together.
You say goat cheese.
Yes.
You don't say goat's cheese. Is that an American thing? Because we say goat's cheese.
Many goats' cheeses.
Yeah,
There we go.